xenophobia and no to the speech of hate speech. Former Prime Minister Peter Mafani Musonga presided over a meeting of the Bilingualism and Multiculturalism Commission this morning at the Yaoundé Conference Center. Mobile telephone is 20 years old in Cameroon. Celebrations to mark the event will take place this month. The good news was announced in Yaoundé this morning. 3 Cameroonians have been arrested in Nairobi, Kenya for the possession of fake bank notes and firearms. They are presently in police custody. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 6 p.m. news on Cambridge Television. No to xenophobia and no to hate speech. A 2-day reflection meeting opened this morning in Yaoundé, organized by the National Commission for Bilingualism and Multiculturalism. This meeting is intended to put an end to such practices, and Umeko was there and came back with the following report.
Discrimination, challenges to peaceful coexistence, ethno-regional cleavages, and socio-politically motivated animosities, major reasons behind the numerous causes of crisis. Objective behind the colloquium organized on hate speech and xenophobia by the National Commission for the Promotion of Bilingualism and Multiculturalism may fit at the Yaoundé Conference Center. After thorough evaluation, recommendation will follow for proper implementation.
We brought in experts who are going to delve into the subject and formulate recommendations on how we should fight hate speech and xenophobia. Well, this is a new national campaign, which means that the first campaign perhaps did not produce the best results that we were expecting. And so this new national campaign, we hope, will lead us to better results.
Despite the recognition of problems, the causes cannot be underestimated.
I think that the multi-party politics that we started in 1990 triggered some of the things that are happening that we call hate speech today. In other words, people don't agree politically, people have different ideologies, and so rather than use more peaceful means in trying to address them, they rather use means that are a little bit, if you like, that are full of hatred, that are full of invectives, that are full of incitement. The Anglophone problem as well is one of the things that has orchestrated hate speech. So you see, wherever there is crisis and wherever there is a search for a solution for that crisis, there is bound to be intellectual animosity.
The 2-day sensitization campaign that kicked off was highly attended by ministers and members of government. Positive results are expected as Cameroonians test to live together as a bilingual country in love and peace.
Mobile telephone is 20 years old in Cameroon, and celebrations will take place in this month of May. A press conference to announce the good news actually took place this morning in Yaoundé. Stephen Elangwe attended the press conference and came back with the following report.
It was at a conference hall in the annex building of the Ministry of Posts and Telecommunications in Yaoundé that this press briefing took place. A moment for opportunities in Africa to pinpoint the major thematic concerns to be deliberated upon during the official celebration of the 20 years of mobile telephone network in Cameroon between May 11 to May 14 this year. Cameroon being one of the first countries in West and Central Africa to have the telecommunication system, it will be a panoply of debates on the positive and negative impact of the telephone network in Cameroon, with a hammer hit on the youths. Cameroon Mobile, Camer 2020, runs under the supervision of the President of the Republic, Paul Biya. 20 years of its existence in Cameroon, it was underscored that mobile telephones have played a major role in the communication sector in the country. Not to forget that on May 11 to May 14, the question on the amelioration of telephone system and how it can serve as a springboard to the 2035 emergence plan will equally be an essential issue on the table.
Today, May 5th, is World Midwives Day, a day set aside to celebrate the bravery of these men and women who sacrifice their lives in bringing life to the world via delivery. More on this story with Colette Loom.
A midwife is a health professional who cares for mothers and newborns around childbirth. Their specialization is known as midwifery.
Working with a midwife does not mean you cannot get an epidural. A midwife can help a woman choose her options about pain management and labor by starting the discussion prenatally. Once a woman knows what is available to her to help her get through and cope through the labor process, she is already ahead of the game because she's already part of the process.
In contemporary society, midwives encounter challenges resulting from delivering expectant mothers with all the inconveniences, the long shift and heavy workload which affects the midwives both psychologically and physically. Most often, people always attribute the profession midwife to females, but men are equally midwives.
Women midwife fail. Here in our community, we look ourselves different between men and women. We are completely different. We don't share our life. We don't share as a patient. I don't consider as I'm a male and they are women. I'm trying my best to make them understand why I employed in this position of male midwife.
The importance of a midwife cannot be undermined.
Is this person listening to me? Do I feel respected? Do I feel like an individual, or do I feel like just a care and in their birth? Because we recognize that this process takes time, takes support, and takes encouragement. And midwives are absolutely there to do that.
Midwives help women to give life, and as such should be celebrated today and always.
Still in the health domain, today Cameroonians are joining the rest of the world to commemorate Asthma Day. What are the causes and the symptoms of this illness? Colette Loom once again met some medical practitioners and came back with this report.
Asthma is a major non-communicable disease affecting both children and adults. Going by medics, the symptoms of asthma include the narrowing of the small airways in the lungs, which can be any combination of cough, shortness of breath, and chest tightness. The causes are enormous.
Nature and nurture. For you to have asthma, you must have had someone in your family who has asthma or asthma-like kind of disease. So the first cause is genetics, so it has to be gene. Then the second one is the environment. So when gene and the environment meet together, we have the symptoms of asthma. If a person begins to find it difficult to breathe, his chest is tight, he's making a noisy breathing, and he finds he's coughing, and it happens more in the night.
Though with the advent of COVID-19 pandemic, whose symptoms are similar to that of asthma, the sickness is preventable despite its persistence, and the treatment is available as well.
What I have in my hand is a peak flow meter. This can be used to make a diagnosis of asthma. What you do is it's just for you to blow into it, something like this, and then it measures a value. People who have asthma tend to have a lower flow when they measure it, and then people with normal lung function, their peak flow will be higher. What we do is we give patients medications. So they have medications they have to take. There are medications they take that cause relief of their symptoms.
Air quality has a major impact on asthma and other respiratory illnesses. Thus, the environment needs to be airy for an asthmatic patient always.
3 Cameroonians are under arrest in Kenya. They were in possession of firearms and fake bank notes. BrigadeAntiSardinard completes this story for us.
The suspects
Pauline Francis Prosper and Jinkam Omar were found to be in the country illegally, while the third suspect, Job Nkentong, holds a refugee identity card according to reports. Rauru, head of the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, Justice Ombati, said the fake money was in denominations of $100, £50 and 1,000 Kenyan shilling notes. After further interrogation of Pauline Francis, considered as the main suspect, detectives raided his house in Motaiga, North Nairobi, where they found a Glock pistol and 28 rounds of 9mm caliber. Detailed investigation reveals the firearm belonged to a fourth suspect, a lady Louise Kagugo, who was holding it illegally since her firearms license had expired. The latter is said to operate over 10 mobile outlets, and detectives believe she is the link between the suspect and the wider criminal syndicate that is defrauding unsuspecting members of the public. This operation comes few days after police officers in Kenya arrested two men found in possession of fake currencies worth 750 million Kenyan shilling notes. Pauline Francis Prosper, Jinkam Omar and Job Kentong are currently in Kenyan police custody as investigations are underway to dismantle the chain of illegal production of fake currencies in the country.
The Cameroonian who is accused to have killed the girlfriend in Italy is not a Cameroonian soldier. A press release from the Ministry of Defense actually says that he is a former soldier. More with Geraldine Nasser.
A Cameroonian based in Italy is reported to have killed his girlfriend and chopped her body into pieces. According to media report from Bologna, Italy, where the incident occurred, Emma Penzemo, who was one day away from celebrating her 31st birthday, disappeared for days, and this made her roommates worried and decided to call Emma's boyfriend, 43-year-old Jacques Honoré, to find out if he has seen her. Unfortunately, he claimed not to have set his eyes on her since Saturday, May 1st, 2021. Shortly after alerting the police, they invaded the house of Jacques and found him hung. Trying to trace the origin of some blood stains, Emma's chopped body was found in a bin. A note left by Jacques suggested he may have committed the act of killing Emma and later killed himself.
Some Cameroonians continue to pay tribute to late Pa Achidi Achu, describing his passing to glory as a big loss. Politics, Najangi, the man of "you scratch my back, I scratch your back," is gone. But once again, let's listen to some Cameroonians paying tribute to late Pa Achidi Achu in this element compiled by Bertrand Tita.
You are welcome. I just take this time to give a second of silence to Pa Achidi. Pa, scratch my back, I scratch your back. I think the loss of Pa Achidi is a big loss, but I think that it is just the beginning of a journey, because Pa Achidi was an icon. He was an example of good politicians. He was not those politicians who were doing backslacking and so on, because he said the truth that could comfort people. I think Pa Achidi idea is the idea that we have today, fighting hate speech.
The late Prime Minister Achidi Achu was a father to everybody in Cameroon. And what we know, he was kind, very down to earth. You know, since church was involved in society, it was involved in social events, and so he was a wonderful person, and we thank God for him.
I think he was a statesman, not only because he was a prime minister, or former prime minister as such, but because he had a fatherly approach to issues and to persons. So my memories are still of a man who went beyond party politics. Even though he was a staunch member of the ruling party, he was very hospitable and very accommodating of other party tendencies. I also remember that Achida Achu was such a simple, humble, and very modest person, and that he could completely move from politics to agriculture. And he was one of the kinds of people you would say is a man of the people, because he spent so much of his life as well in his own village. So I think it's not only the country that mourns the Prime Minister Achida Achu, but I think his village will actually miss him so much.
We now talk sports. Mola is the name of the AFCON 2021 mascot. The name was revealed today during a ceremony presided at by Sports Minister Narcisse Mwele Kombi. Mola, the mascot, will soon be presented to the public. Stephen Elangwe.
It is 9:15 a.m. at the Yaoundé Multipurpose Sports Complex, and the ceremony for the official presentation of the AFCON 2021 mascot and the football songs have been presented to the Minister of Sports and Physical Education by the respective juries. The selection of the mascot, according to the head of the Mascot Creation Commission, was based on the principles of category, adaptability, message, identity, significance, and aesthetics. Out of 35 proposed mascots, Mola will be the official mascot for AFCON 2021.
We selected what we consider the best three. Those three are proposed to COCAN that will choose the final. But there were songs which have a direct link with football, easy to be picked up. Songs that could sell the event, because the aim of a theme song is really to be able to galvanize people, to sensitize people, to bring the warmth that is needed for such an event to cut through hard.
The song submitted for evaluation, the jury in charge of the football anthem shortlisted just 3, a work effectuated by a jury of 16 people. The selection took into consideration national characteristics, language, text, originality, and the harmony in musicality. The mascot, by name Mola, will publicly be presented through a televised media coverage on the 15th of this month. Meanwhile, the drawing ceremony for AFCON 2021 is slated for June 25, 2021. The Minister of Sports and Physical Education also applauded and lauded the efforts of the jury members in the work of mathematics of the heart and soul. The echoes of AFCON can already be heard in the skies across the triangular country in Central Africa.
We still talk sports, and we talk the European Champions League. For the first time in history, Manchester City will play the finals of the European Champions League. It's a big moment for the club. Just watch this report.
Manchester City has qualified for the finals of the European Champions League for the first time in history since its creation. A double goal from the Algeria-born Riyad Mahrez saw the Sky Blues winning Paris Saint-Germain by 2-0 at the Etihad Stadium. Neymar and Paris Saint-Germain were dominated in the second leg semi-final match of the European Champions League from start to finish. On aggregate is 4-1 in favor of the boys of coach Pep Guardiola after winning the first leg at the Parc des Princes Stadium in Paris by 2-1. Manchester City has qualified for the finals, but they will know their opponents when Chelsea takes on Real Madrid at 8 p.m. tonight at the Stamford Bridge Stadium in England. In the first leg, both teams separated on a 1-1 tie. The finals of the European Champions League will be played on Saturday, May 29 at the Istanbul's Olympic Stadium in Turkey.
Thanks for watching the 6 p.m. news on Camdis television. It's on this note that we put an end to this newscast. Another news will be yours in the French language at 8 p.m. A presentation of Désiré Trésor Mbune. Right ahead is Mediacracy with Serge Bonji. Till then, we continue to watch programs on Camdis television. Good evening and stay blessed.